Okay, so we're going to add this next element in here. So I'm going to pull the eye patch down and just drop it on the top here. And it really is an eye patch. Like I said, it was just cut out of a picture real quick. It was just something to throw in here for a little bit of humor. But there's the eye patch. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to track again. I'm going to pick the start here. And come back over here. Got start selected. And just to make life a little bit easier for myself, animation, track motion. And we're back here again. And when I did this, remember, since I've already tracked this layer once, there is a tracker in here already called Tracker1, and it's down here. But when I called up the tracker again, it created a new one called Tracker2. And so this is a totally different tracking session, but on the same layer. But if you're going to switch between your tracks, this is where you go for the trackers, and we're going to work with Tracker2. This one, we are going to add rotation, which is going to give us the second tracker, because it calculates rotation based on where the two trackers are and then how they change over time in relation to each other. If we were to do scale, I tried it. Scale gets a little questionable. Feel free to do it after the fact, but if you have scale, then it calculates scale based on the the distance, the two trackers getting closer or further apart from each other. And what I found works well for this, because in this case we do want to kind of work with the face, because for one, there's no tracking markers, so we need high contrast areas. But since the eye patch is going to be over the eye, I was looking for markers that were up on the face. And I found if you use the, let's see, take Tracker 1 and just use that nostril, and then take Tracker 2, and I'm going to use that chunk of his eyebrow. So starting with this guy, I'm going to open that up a little bit and open up. So I've got this, because what the tracker is really looking for is contrast. And so I've got the pink skin with the dark nostril, nasal opening. So that gives me the contrast that'll work. And this guy here, I'm opening it up to grab a reasonable chunk of his eyebrow, like there. That makes a nice contrast point there. You move it over slightly, something like that. And most of the motion is horizontal, so that's why it's kind of elongated in this direction. And we'll just see how this goes. Same thing, I set this up on frame 1, and I'm just going to track it. In this case, the edit target, make sure it's going to say eye patch. That's what you want. If it says anything else, then select the eye patch and have the eye patch up on the top layer. And then we're just going to track it. What you tend, a lot of people when they first start, they try and use the eyeballs because you got the colored part in the white, but he blinks. People blink, and that will mess it up really big. The more trackers you have, and the bigger the search areas, the longer it takes. Ah, the Friday sounds of the city. In this case, it doesn't matter because the eye patch isn't going to go over the border edge of the frame. But under the light wrap, depends on where you're putting it. It's easier to work with where it's at because it's on top of everything, since it's not going to really go around the edge of his head all the way to the edge. If it actually did cross that border, then yes, you're right. If you want to try it under the light wrap, that's fine too. Because I knew it wasn't crossing the light wrap transition area, I knew I didn't care, so I put it where I did. But as I'm thinking about it, when you ask that question, yes, if if it was something where it actually went around the edge of his head, you would want to, or over the curls and stuff, you would want to have it under the light wrap for accuracy. Okay, so we got this. And I'm going to double check my edit target. It's going to the eye patch, and I'm just hitting apply, X and Y. And basically the same thing happens again. It spins it around because now we're working with rotation, and it moved it over. And we've got the same situation. If I open up the eye patch, this time there's position and there's scale. And again, you have to pick the word so you get all of the keyframes. If not, a couple of you found you're going to get a pop because you moved to just one frame. So at this point I can move this over and then select rotation and get the rotation tool up here and just spin it around like so. We go back to position.
Mine keeps stopping. I think it's because we checked that thing.
If you set it to stop,
Yeah.
and it's not liking one of the tracking markers, then it's doing what you told it to do by stopping.
Yeah, but how do I make it not?
I'll have to look at it
Okay.
in a second. Okay, so we got that. Come in here, position it. Make sure you've only got the eye patch layer selected. And rotate a little bit. Maybe somewhere in there. And then if you grab the edge, you may want to scale it down slightly to sort of fit it in. And if you hold shift, it'll lock it to its aspect, so it won't change shape.
How do you rotate?
Pick the rotation, so you have that, and then I use the rotation tool up here. Just hotkey W, and it'll just spin it, and then just switch back. And then I get position, slide it over a little bit, like so. Sebastian, you see what I mean? It doesn't get into the light wrap area, so it doesn't really matter. But if it did wrap all the way around the back of his head, then you probably want to go in under the light wrap. And scale, maybe a little bit bigger. About like in there. And let's just see what we got. Oh, I did it too. Position. If you get one keyframe that's off like this, you can just grab it and move it. But in that case, you don't want position selected. Did I grab that? Oh, let's go with the layer. Nope. Okay. See, now I can move this back into a line. Then select position. Move that back up. Let's see if I got it. Yeah, there we go. So you saw me do the same thing that I've been talking to you about. But that should hold, except for that first frame that I'll have to fix. And if you RAM cache it, yeah, it's a little rotation on that first one. And it could be a little bit bigger. But it's just a little bit of fun. Just something else to show, but also to show rotation and translation. Any questions? Okay, we'll let this go for a second, and then I'll stop it. I'll stop the video, and we'll try this. There we go. Except for that one burble where I moved the keyframe. There we go. So, load it up. It's probably got the straight keyframe. Hang on a second, I'll come by. There we go. So be aware of sitting in front of cameras around the school because the student didn't realize we'd be using this for like a couple of years. But anyway, so that's a quick way to do that. Let me stop the video.